This is the Sell Your Brand Show with James Bray and Mike Killen, the one-stop shop for creative solopreneurs and startups to get the best practical advice on how to build, how to brand, and how to sell online products and content. Let's get to it. Hey guys, this is James from Brand Snack.
And Mike from Sell Your Service.
And this week we're going to be talking about our top influencers and how they've helped to shape us and our businesses.
It's because we couldn't think of another topic.
Pretty much. To be honest, this is a really important one. I'm not going to jump straight into it, but saying that we've gone through a lot of guides recently of kind of like how-tos and step-by-step processes.
Been quite intense.
So we thought we'd kind of pare it back a bit this week and start talking about other people out there, other really, really kind of genius professionals out there that have helped us shape what we do and who we really respect. But before we get into it, Mike, you right?
Yep.
Good. So, first
Yeah, I'm good.
Great.
I'm fine.
Stunning conversation.
It's beautiful weather and whatever,
people.
and we've got some cool stuff coming out. We're working on a piece of software, so that's good.
Nice.
Did
we? Go on.
No,
go on.
What,
No, fine. Go on.
I was just gonna say,
fine. If you don't want me to talk, fine. Go on.
It's a plugin that we're working on, so that'll be good if that gets
That does
released.
sound really cool.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. It's about
I'm looking forward to that.
building funnels, of course. How you doing, man?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I've recently been looking into. We'll go into this a bit in the content report as well this week. But looking into content syndication.
Yeah.
So, which is another topic really close to my heart. Because I think if you're creating all this amazing content, you need to find every possible avenue of getting it out there.
Yeah, it's
and
interesting
reusing it.
because a lot of the time I've noticed when you kind of go through the process of discovery with customers, and if we're creating online content and they say, yeah, you know what, I've tried blog writing before and it hasn't really worked out. You go, okay, well, yeah, you have. You've written, quite a few posts here. Where have you shared it?
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I've pinned it up in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Good. Well done.
Yeah. But we'll come back to that. You mentioned something about an email subject line that you didn't like.
Yeah.
Because I've got a gripe that I want to share as well about a piece of software that I've bought recently as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Should we have a little gripe 5 minutes?
A bit of a moan.
Little 5 minute gripe.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of emails recently through, which are very much like, did you forget this?
Yeah.
I don't know, what's this that you haven't thought of?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know what? Instantly, that's put me in a bad mood because you're not telling me exactly why I'm opening the email. I mean, I understand the concept of it. I understand it's supposed to pique your curiosity.
Yeah.
But there's a level of piquing curiosity and interest.
Yeah.
I think they're two different things.
Yeah.
Curiosity, it's just like, right, well, what are you on about?
Yeah.
Interest is like, that might be actually useful for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the problem with it's like anything though, like email marketing, it goes in waves and stuff, and I think these particular types of headlines are really in vogue at the moment. My favorite one at the moment, which gets a high open rate, is RE, as in reply. It looks like the subject line is a reply, and I know that people open that because I check out the open. But if I receive that, I'd be like, this is fucking cheap. What's this guy doing? I got an email from Troy, funny enough. It said another boring email, and I was like, huh. And I went in and checked it out, and it was a regular newsletter email. I was like, you little shit. like I work for you, and I still wanted to open up the email. But yeah, email subject lines are a funny one. We're at the moment I'm being bombarded by. So do you know a company called JV Zoo? Sense of joint venture.
No.
Basically, for anyone out. So as soon as I say this, people go, "That sounds amazing." It's not. It's an affiliate platform whereby people put their products and you can put your products and other people will sell them and you get a cut and they get a cut and all this kind of stuff. It's an affiliate marketplace, right?
Yep.
And I bought one piece of software from this recently called Reach Influencer. And I've got a bit of a proper gripe with them because I've asked for a refund like 15 times now. They won't give it to me.
Right.
But I still get their fucking marketing emails.
I bet you do.
Like, it's just bombarded with like webinar offers and product offers and extra upsells and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, you haven't delivered on the initial thing, right? So let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? But secondly, I've asked for a refund and no one's got back to me. So I'm thinking of just making this a bit public.
Yeah.
I think I've emailed enough times, so I've probably got a video.
15 times. I think that's...
It's right, maybe not 15 times. It's 5 times though, comfortably. I've sent 5 emails.
To be honest, more than twice is too much.
Once. If I walked into a shop and said I'd like a refund, please, they said you're going to have to walk through that door another 14 more times to get a refund, sir, as part of our policy. It does say that on the receipt.
Sometimes you walk into shops and ask them though, and you get a blank expression.
Yeah, true. They go,
and then you have to ask again.
I remember I took like a kiln jar, like a masonry jar, back to a shop, and I was like, when we had opened it, so at some point it had become smashed, so the bottom had just like fallen out. Right. There was glass everywhere. I was like, ugh. And it was just inconvenient more than anything. So I had to go back and put it on the counter and said, "Hey, I'd like a refund." She went, "I'm gonna have to get my manager because I don't know if refunds cover accidental breakages." I was like, "Whoa, I didn't drop it. I didn't break it." They're like, "Oh yeah, but there's no way of us knowing that." And I'm like, if this was a £3,000 Swarovski crystal, I can understand your hesitance to say we probably can't refund this. This was a £12 fucking jar from like Argos or Homebase or some shit. And the thing is, I was like, I actually don't even want a refund. I just want a replacement.
It's amazing.
And she was like, "Look, this kid's coming. This hoodie, right, is it coming? Obviously trying to game the system."
Yeah.
What? Give me another fucking jar.
With his jar fetish.
Yeah, exactly.
Smashing them and taking them back.
There's fucking nothing I love more than going home and smashing open a jar. What are you doing? Yeah, just give me the refund. So anyway, reach influencer. If you're listening, fucking give me a refund. It's unbearable now.
Nice.
In fact, I am going to do a video on it. It's not next week, because next week I'm doing another product that I've bought where there are 9 upsell pages after I buy. I recorded the buying process. Yeah, by the end I wanted to blow my brains out. Okay. So I'll put that out. But yeah, I'll do a video on it.
Amazing. What not to do.
It's unbearable. I've seen a lot of bad examples of bad marketing recently. Another one was clicking through and the page had 5 call to actions on it. So it had a buy button. It had one of those intercom pop-ups.
Oh, gotcha.
It had a join our Facebook group pop-up. It had a would you like browser notifications pop-up.
Oh my God.
And after I'd recovered from my seizure, I scrolled up to exit and another fucking exit pop-up came up.
Amazing.
So I was like, just let me go. Yeah, so that was pretty exhausting. So yeah.
You know what? I think that's a good call, because we always go about what you should be doing and the kind of like the right ways of doing things.
Yeah.
But you equally learn as much from examples of really awful ways.
I went back through my site instantly and was like, delete everything. Just have nothing come up, because it's unbearable. Like, I understand there's conversions and stuff, and maybe some people convert. And funnily enough, actually, it's interesting. If I went to a site like that and some of the influencers that we're about to talk about on this podcast came up and they did it, I'd probably be more inclined to opt into one of them or sift through it, But as a first-time viewer on that page, I didn't know this guy.
I was going to say that's because they've built trust with you already.
Yeah, so maybe that's wouldn't have been so bad if I'd have known them already.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, once you know someone and once you trust someone and you trust the value that they're going to give you, you're much more inclined to sign up for whatever they kind of send out to you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
anything new that they're offering to you. Whereas if you don't know them from anyone, then you're like, well, you know what? I have no idea what sort of value you're going to give. I don't even know if I like you.
Yeah.
I don't need to be harassed.
Yeah, I don't need to be harassed yet.
Yeah, 7 times on the same page.
And what also annoyed me is the email said, I think I've even got a blog post about this out. The email said, click here for your freebies of the week. And I was like, that's quite a clever idea. Just like sourcing all the best free stuff and just having a page and releasing that every week. Straight away as a sales message.
Oh.
I was like, well, okay, fine, whatever. So, yeah. But speaking of how not to do it, do you want to talk about who does it well?
Yes, let's do it. Let's kick into the actual point of the show. Why not?
15 minutes in.
I was going to say. So, yeah, let's start off with... this is one of the main people that got me into the course business through her honest, open approach.
I know exactly who you're going to talk about.
Mariah Cos.
Oh, no.
Oh, who are you going for?
The Queen.
The Queen and Regency courses
Yeah.
on how to groom corgis.
Her Royal Majesty. The Queen. Yeah. No, yeah. Mariah Cos, Femtrepreneur.
Yeah, from Femtrepreneur.
Outstanding.
Exactly. And what hit me about her was, I mean, I had been in a corporate environment for so long that I wanted to get out of.
Yeah.
And what hit me about her was it was just literally her, a website, a webcam, and a microphone.
Yeah.
And she pretty much said, you know what? This is about all you need. As long as you're like pumping out good content and realistic content and content that that resonates with people and helps them.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And she made it so simple.
Yeah.
And so honest. And so likable. I think that's also another really, really good point about Mariah.
Yeah.
Is that she is incredibly likable.
Yeah,
and you
she
can
is.
just listen to her because she's so down to earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, she was kind of one of the main people that got me into this track of, right, I should be going down this route. And not only has she shown that that's a really nice way to be, she also shows that it's bloody profitable.
Yeah.
Because she has thousands of people signed up to her courses, and literally like thousands of followers. And yeah, she's done all that from just being herself and not worrying about any kind of overly complicated systems, processes.
And it's consistent as well.
It is.
You know, it's in fact, actually, that might be the thing that sticks out amongst all, because we've written this list out and kind of going through it. Every single person, I would argue, is on there because they consistently put out stuff that shows just who they are.
You know what? Looking at the list, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot to be said about information marketing and people who put out, you know, shit and stuff like this. And that's fine. They exist and there's a huge market for that out there, but it's not sustainable. And the guys who are around in 5 or 10 years' time won't be doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mariah Cos, outstanding. So she's predominantly for course builders.
Yes. Yeah, she is. So I think initially she started off just teaching people how to build courses.
Yeah.
But then she realized her niche was in opening the doors for the smallest of niche courses to become popular and to become profitable.
Yeah.
So now she focuses on people that want to build courses in like, I don't know, sewing buttons on cushions creating certain types of like, I don't know, cocktails or, you know, that literally like as niche as possible.
Interesting.
She focuses on. So it's not kind of this wide overarching, do you want to teach business? Do you want to teach marketing? She's not about that. She's more about letting people's passions come through. And I think that's really nice. And that's a really nice twist on the whole kind of course creation process.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, big fan of Mariah Cos.
Really, really good.
So the first person on my side is Ryan Dice.
Yep.
So Ryan Dice, for the unlikely few that don't know, he's the CEO and co-founder of Digital Marketer, but in total they have hundreds of companies, right? Hundreds of subsidiaries. And what's interesting is that, so I interviewed him a few months back now, and he even said some of his original and older practices were like pretty shady to do with email marketing and stuff. And he says, you know,
did you forget this?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. What was the? There's quite a famous subject line apparently, which is it like always gets opens, but now basically I can't remember, something to do with like spam email or something. I can't remember. But basically he goes on and he said, look, you know, we learned from that and we've had to come back from that. And now they just focus on being authentic. Now, the thing about Ryan is that he's crazy, crazy wealthy, right? Super, super rich, very, very influential, knows some massive, massive guys in the space, and yet just so humble and down to earth. So there's a couple of times that he posts in the Digital Marketer group, and it's him just kind of putting, you know, his heart in his sleeve a little bit. You know, sometimes a couple of years back, someone had a real go at one of the staff members of Digital Marketer, and he said, I actually don't care if people set up forums. There's even entire websites dedicated to hating Ryan Dice. It's like, I don't really mind that, but you can't have a go at my staff because these guys are at top of the game. And I don't know, there's just something very
that's nice,
authentic about him. But also, it all boils down to his key message of, it's not the best product that wins all the time. It's how willing you are to acquire customers and spend money on acquire
I think
customers.
that's so true.
The person who is willing to spend more to acquire a customer wins. And
Yep.
it's as simple as that. So a lot of their models and stuff like the CVO and stuff talks about, creating these types of funnels and stuff. I think it's been hijacked by a lot of entrepreneurs
Yep.
who create a load of shit funnels, frankly. Whereas his thing is, it's not just about doing the one type of funnel that works. It's about learning how to acquire customers, basically.
Yeah.
And if you can spend $100 to find a customer, you will win against someone who's not willing to spend anything to acquire a customer.
Yep.
But yeah, Ryan Dice, big guy, and like Russ Henneberry, Molly Pittman,
Yep.
the rest of the team, they're just all outstanding.
Yeah.
And he's a cool guy.
I've spent a lot of time on digital marketers' website as well, and yeah, just the content that they've got on there
blog
for
is
free.
mad, isn't it? Yeah.
The amount of stuff I've learnt on there
Yeah.
for nothing.
Yeah.
Like I know you take their paid courses as well, and you're a member
Yeah,
of their HQ
I'm on
service.
all of it, yeah.
And I can't even imagine what sort of extra benefits you get from that. I'm sure it's insane.
So I recently did the email marketing course.
Yep.
And I was like, I consider myself a pretty good email marketer. It's where I started. And I was like, I know fuck all about email marketing. Like I was going through this, and that might have been, no, it wasn't Russ. It was their chief operating officer. I forget his name. Apologies for not remembering. But yeah, it was just, I was going through and I was like, this is so good. It's unbelievable. They've just got a copywriting course on there as well, which I'm desperate to kind of smash through. But
Nice.
yeah, really, really good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call on that. Very good call.
And The Invisible Selling Machine, his book,
Oh, yes.
which not only is in itself a great book, it's also like a perfect example of like tripwires and, selling a book at cost to acquire customers and stuff. So yeah, Ryan Dice, big fan of him.
Practices what he preaches.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
And I think along with consistency with all of our options, all of our choices here,
Yeah.
it's also they all practice what they preach.
Yeah.
None of them are fake.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they'll all do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Even to like the point of, like you say, there's forums set up that probably like badmouth him and hate him.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter because he's got the way that he likes to do stuff and that knows works and knows that there's people out there
Yep.
that want that.
Yep. Definitely. 100%.
Cool. Okay. So the second person on my list is Kimra Luna.
Now, I don't know Kimra Luna.
She
Very
is
interesting. I don't know Kimra Luna.
check her out. She is incredible. Kimraluna. Kimra Luna. Basically, she started off making courses, teaching people how to kind of market their business. All very standard, very bog standard. But the way she does it, her brand is so unique, so far out there.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She made, I think it was 1.2 million off of one of her initial course launches.
Fuck.
Yeah. Because she has such a presence,
Yeah.
because she inspires such a following. Now, this is a lady with like sort of bright blue hair.
Yeah, I can. Okay, yeah, I can get this now. Yeah.
And her entire brand and style is all about kind of space and aliens.
Yeah.
It's all a bit out there. But this is why I love branding.
Yeah.
Because everyone will tell you that, I mean, if you look on Twitter, you look on Pinterest, you look on all of these websites and social platforms, everyone looks pretty much the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way that they do things, the way that they structure things, the colors that they use, all of that is all pretty much very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, I've scrolled through Pinterest boards and it all blurs into a mixture of pastel shades.
Pastels very big at the moment.
And it's just like
soft, sort of muted colors.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? You're not going to stand out. If you're choosing that, don't bother.
Yeah.
She has come along and just said, you know what? Fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have blue hair
I'll
and
give her that.
aliens.
Yeah.
Who would ever think
Yeah.
in the business world, blue hair and aliens would sell marketing courses?
Yeah.
It does. 1.2 million and over.
Mad, isn't it?
It's insane. So it just goes to show that no matter what you're teaching, you can instill your personality into that.
Yeah.
And there will always be people that will resonate with it.
Yeah, and I think this is a big lesson from this is I understand. My second person, I know that some people aren't going to like.
Oh yeah.
And that's not the point. The point is finding an audience that does like you and does resonate with you.
Yep.
If you want to, like, I've been trying to sort of quantify this recently. The concept of branding yourself and branding a business, I do think a lot of it is down to dividing opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you can do that, you've got a successful brand.
Yes.
You know, because the same people who hate you, if you flip that, you'll find people who will completely stand by your sword. It's almost irrelevant if they don't like you, as long as they know what you do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Look at Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well, you joke.
He became president.
He became president through getting half the country to hate him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting viewpoint to see someone. I'll be honest, I haven't seen someone push it quite this far.
Yeah, but
this is big.
You gotta love it, don't you?
Absolutely, it's absolutely outstanding.
I think are you on the Freedom Hackers website?
Yeah, Freedom Hackers. Yeah, and there's this new B brand U or something.
Yeah, that's the one. But yeah, it's literally insane. It looks like something off of Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it does.
But it's so, like, when you actually look at the what she's offering behind all of that and the value that she gives, it's insane.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
It's just covered with this kind of this sheen of color and craziness, but it works and it inspires loyalty, and that's what I love about it. And I think that's what I've learned from her, is that it doesn't matter your style, you need to be individual to stand out. Yeah. No, it doesn't matter. No matter what, choose what is you. Yeah. And project that, and you will find people. I mean, this planet's got billions of people on it. You will find people that will resonate with you. Yeah, and this is like, it's funny that, because we've been doing a little bit on like advertising the size of audiences and stuff, and a lot of people who talk about, you know, you have an audience of 2.5, 3 million. I'm like, realistically, I only need 1,000 customers and I'm profitable. Yeah, 1,000 out of 6 or even 7 billion people now. They're probably out there. Yeah, you know. Yeah. Can you imagine dealing with 1,000 customers? I know. Like, that's a lot of people, and yet it's such a fractionally small percentage of people that could follow you. So, yeah, good point. Great example. Big fan of that. Yeah, love her. So, yeah, talking of dividing opinion, second person on my list is Grant Cardone. Yeah. I understand why people don't like Grant Cardone. I understand that he's a controversial character. For those who don't know who he is a salesperson par excellence, in my opinion. I think a lot of people would confuse his approach with the hard sell and like secondhand car salesman. The reason I like him is because there was a point in the business where I was becoming really disheartened with the amount of work I was doing and the gain that I was getting, right? It was inversely proportional, and I seemed to be putting in everything. I was getting nothing in return. Yep. So at the time I read the 10X Rule. That was the first book I read. And it had nothing. It didn't have him on the front. It didn't have anything. And I listened to the audiobook, and the voice on the audiobook was going through. I was like, this is charismatic. Like, whoever they've got is brilliant at reading this. And wouldn't you know it, Grant Cardone reads his own audiobooks. And I thought, that's interesting that someone felt that their message was so powerful that they had to have control over it. And some of the messages he goes over are things like, if you're obsessed with something, the rest of the world will tell you that that's unhealthy. Mm-hmm. But if you look at anyone who has achieved anything, they're obsessed with it. Yep. Average people will do everything they can to say, you shouldn't be obsessed with that. It's unhealthy. You shouldn't be like this. It's not normal. And he basically, I think one of the first things is like, and this is one of his other books, Be Obsessed or Be Average. He gives you permission to be obsessed. If you want to be obsessed with something, go ahead, do it, right? And it completely flipped my opinion on what I consider the hard sell, in that if I now genuinely believe that I am the equivalent of a doctor and someone's got a broken leg, and I know I can heal that broken leg, for me to say, oh, well, if they don't want it, then fine, I'll ignore them. I actually feel I now have an obligation to help that person. Even if they say, no, I don't want the help. I don't want to heal my broken leg. I go, you should heal this, because otherwise you're going to suffer from this problem, and to really, really work hard at feeling that you should be obliged to sell to someone because you are the only person who can help them. Yep. Now, some of their stuff, like, I don't want to get into it, frankly, but some of his views and stuff, I really do understand why people don't get on with it. But I kind of separate that from
like the difference between the artist's personal life and their message.
Yeah.
And everything you take with a bit of salt. Some of it I don't agree with, but the concept of 10x, so the 10x rule, we do apply to our business now. It's not like you can 10x your lifestyle. It flips it actually. It says whatever result you want, if you want one thing, you're going to have to put in the effort to find 10 of those things. If you want one customer, you're going to have to put in the effort to find 10 customers, because that's all that's going to find you one customer. And the biggest thing, I remember you and I would talk about this, is hey, our sales goal is to get £100,000 per salesperson, and then 8 months into the year they realize they're not going to hit that, and they go, okay, well, we're going to reduce that to £80,000 per person. I'm like, so the way that you want to break records and sales records is by doing less than last year.
Yeah.
It's like remedial classes for kids. They're like, okay, we're going to go slow. I'm like, so the way you want to catch up with the other kids is by going slower than the other kids. That's how you think that works.
It's crazy, isn't it?
So yeah, I understand why people don't like him. If you hate sales, read the books, because it will convince you that selling is not fast talking and tricking people into doing it. It's about understanding why something is important to someone's life. And people can always say no, and we do. We have people say no to me all the time. They go, I'm just not interested. I go, please don't take my persistence as the hard sell or arrogance. I just feel I should do everything I can to help you. If you're not interested, let me know, man, and I'll go find someone else, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, Grant Cardone is, he's cool.
I think that's a really good lesson, you know?
Yeah.
I think, like you say, a lot of people think selling is evil.
It's the single most important thing in business.
Yeah.
100% of your revenue is attributed to sales.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. The problem is it's been hijacked. We could do an entire episode on sales. In fact, we should do, really, because the concept of selling, I think, has been hijacked by like Glenn Ross. Have you seen that?
No.
So it's a film where it's about real estate sales, and Alec Baldwin won an Oscar for his one speech in it. He's not in it for the rest of the film, and it shows what sales is like in the 80s. I want to say 80s, 90s, something like that. I understand why people don't like selling. They go, "Oh, sales is a bit icky." Every single cent of your business relies on selling.
Yep.
Bar none. If there was anything else in your business that contributed 100% of revenue, you would become obsessed with it and focus on it. You know, it's not about hard sales. It's about understanding that your product can genuinely help people. You know.
Yeah, it's having that belief, isn't it? If you, and I think that's, you know what, that's why a lot of people think sales are bad, selling is bad, because they don't have the belief in the value of their product or service.
Yeah.
If you believe, truly 100% believe in yourself, that you can help someone with what you have, why wouldn't you be pushing it?
Well, like I said with the doctor, we even have a sales course on a program on sell your service called Obliged to Close, because the way for you to make sales is to feel that you are obliged to go out there and help people. If you have a cure to a disease, you are morally obliged to go out there and find people with that disease and cure them. That is how strong the conviction must be within your product.
Yeah.
But we'll come on to that another time. Yeah, Grant Cardone, check it out. 10x Rule. He's fucking insane. Amazing Louisiana accent. Yeah, good guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right. Third on my list, and we've spoken about him a lot, and he's one of your mates.
Yeah.
Mr. Troy Dean.
Move on.
Move on. Troy.
Move on. I spent enough time around him. Yeah. Yeah, T-Rex, he's good.
Yeah, you actually introduced me to Troy. Not personally. So, you know.
We're a million miles away.
Mark that against you. Yeah. It's fine. But yeah, you introduced me to like everything he does and everything that he stands for.
Yeah.
And I kind of got hooked on reading his kind of journey into where he started out and where he is now.
Yeah.
And I found that incredibly inspiring.
Yeah.
That he was literally just like, didn't know where to go with his life, was doing like kind of web design development. And
have you seen his? So for those who don't know, Troy Dean is an Australian coaching and consultant. He does a bunch of stuff. Ran a web design agency. He runs WP Elevation and Rockstar Empires as well at the moment. But he's got a video called My Friend Anxiety, where he talks about where he was just kind of playing gigs and stuff on like tropical islands off the coast of Australia, and like had a nervous breakdown on like this paradise. He says, I'm surrounded by a place where people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to come to, and there was him like bawling his eyes out,
right? Because
he just couldn't handle it.
Wow.
And he was like, okay, well, let's make a change then. And what's interesting is that he has to kind of break the story down, because it's not like, let's make a change, oh, everything got good, let's make a change, everything got worse. And he had to deal with a lot of like this web design stuff, and then set up WP Elevation to help WordPress consultants run better businesses.
I think it's that kind of like hand to mouth, like that he was living for definitely an age. And he doesn't sugarcoat anything, and that's what I really like. He's like, you know what? I
should be in a meeting with him. He definitely does.
It's like it starts out shit, and you have to put in a lot of work. But once you find something that does work, then keep at it and keep at it. And the amount of success that he's seen now is incredible. Yeah,
it's mad. Yeah, he's got some insane stuff in the pipeline. I kind of wish I could talk about it more, but it's interesting because even as a colleague and a friend now, I've known him for a few years, he's still absolutely someone that I look up to and respect, and I try to run things past him, because like I say, he doesn't sugarcoat stuff. He recently had a kid, and what's interesting is everyone was like, oh, it's going to change his life. I was like, no, it won't. It won't change him one iota. Sure, he'll be a father now, but you will not see any less energy or enthusiasm. He went out and like built a studio because he just loves talking to people so much.
Amazing.
So he's like constantly in the studio just filming stuff to put out there, because he just loves helping people and being there and being a part of that community. And that's what he likes. He likes being a part of the community as opposed to leading it.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting dynamic he set up.
I think that's really good.
And he's Australian, so he's got a pretty good sense of humour.
You got to love it.
Yeah.
I think that's another reason why I was drawn to him. Good sense of humour.
Yeah.
But it was mainly down to the passion that he has for his audience and for his customers.
Absolutely.
He wants his users' experience to be the best it possibly can be. And I think there's a lot of people and a lot of businesses out there that will try 100% up until the sale point.
Yeah.
And as soon as the sale point, they drop off. Once they've got the money, that's it.
Yeah.
They might do some like token efforts.
Yeah.
Troy's the other way around.
He ramps it up.
Yeah. He ramps it up properly, and that's why he's built such a devout following.
Yeah.
He's got like thousands of people.
But there's a reason
WP
that
Elevation.
GoDaddy, a multi-million-dollar company, have approached WP Elevation, which is tiny in comparison, because they go, we've got no credibility, you've got fuck tons of credibility. We need some of that. Like there's a big reason why big companies are approaching WP Elevation, because do you know what? His membership isn't the biggest in the world. I think it's about 1,000 members now, which is pretty good. Big email list, but again, not the biggest of email lists. And yet he doesn't have to. In fact, if anything, we have to kind of hold people back when they write negative comments on like Facebook posts and like adverts and stuff and forums. We have to hold back, and we have to tell our guys, don't worry about it, because they'll go in there and they will defend fervently Troy Dean, WP Elevation, the team. It's really interesting. These guys are fanatical. But he's a good guy, man.
Yeah.
Rockstar Empires is a very different business model.
Yep.
To do with helping people build courses and stuff.
Yeah. Again, another very good course.
Yeah.
But yeah, Troy Dean.
Yeah.
Well up there for me as well.
Good old T-Rex.
Cool.
So third for me is someone I've only discovered relatively recently, within the last year or so, is Sunny Lenarduzzi.
Yeah.
So Sunny Lenarduzzi grew her YouTube following to something like 100,000 in 2 years or something insane like that. Yeah.
That's insane.
So this is going to sound negative. Her videos are nothing special. Now, I would hope that she actually sees that as a positive thing, what I'm trying to say there. The topics that she talks about, the content she talks about, is nothing that other people haven't tried to talk about. The way she sets things up is not expensive flashing lights. She doesn't have movie stars coming in. She's, I would consider a YouTube influencer now. But it's the fact that she sits down, talks about this content that's useful, and consistently and repeatedly puts it out there, and is always publishing stuff that people want to know about.
Yeah.
Now she's not publishing stuff that people want to know about because other people go, well, it's Sunny Lenarduzzi, I'm going to watch it anyway. I'm sure there's an element of that now, but it's certainly because she does so much research into what people want to know about.
That's key.
If you go to her YouTube channel, and she's mostly video marketing, but it's beginning to move into like online course creation and running your own business and stuff.
Okay.
If you look at, I interviewed her recently, and what was interesting is she said there's nothing stopping anyone from doing this. Like, she's not, she doesn't have these magic powers. It's because she went out, researched the topics that people want to know about, and just produced a video a week on it. It started with just her phone, and she even says like the C920 camera, which Logitech should win an award or something for.
They
that
definitely
camera.
should. I think like pretty much every single vlogger
Mariah
in the
Cos
world
has got
one.
like a post on it. Like, it's just a great camera. Yeah, super basic camera, HD, really good quality. And she just records with that. And again, another thing, just seems down to earth. She seems like a person you could have a conversation with. And like, when I was interviewing her, she was probably the most nervous I've been. Maybe Andrew Craig was pretty nerve-wracking, but I was very nervous about Sonny Lenarduzzi. And yet, she just wanted to have a conversation.
You gotta love it.
And she's definitely, when it comes out now, when her videos come up every single Tuesday without fail, I'll go ahead and watch them. And yeah, if you want to learn how to build video content, SEO content, certain parts of running a business and things, just watch her stuff. But go back and watch some of her first videos and watch what she does now. And that is a result of her sitting down with her phone. The lighting's pretty shit, like the sound quality's fine. But over time, because she's grown this following, she's now moved into a place where she's able to like put a bit more production value and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the messages and the video content, the actual titles themselves, consistent all the way through.
Nice.
Yeah.
You gotta love it. I think she's a stunning example of what you can do with video marketing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I definitely look up to her. I'm planning to get into move Branchnack into video quite shortly.
Interesting.
And she's definitely someone I look up to in that area.
Yeah.
Someone that I learn a lot from.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, really, really good choice. Cool. Okay. I know I kind of stole this one from you as well because you wanted this one. We'll take a joint one on this.
No, it's fine.
And that is Mr. Miles Beckler.
I love this man.
He is genius. Yeah. Absolute genius. Again, one of the most down-to-earth people.
Yeah.
Literally down to... Do you know what? I saw his... I was a bit put off. I saw his pictures.
Yeah.
And he's there like with his baseball cap. I can talk. I wear a baseball cap all the
every
time.
single fucking day.
But, you just think like, okay, is it's just going to be a bit of like, I don't know, a dude just...
Standard internet marketer.
Yeah, just like, right, yeah. What's different?
Yeah.
I've watched a number of his videos now. He is the most likable person.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
like his energy is insane. I think in one video, he starts off quite slow, gets into showing you how to do something.
Yeah.
You can tell he's getting more and more excited than the time that he's telling you how to do it.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, he's just like ramping out about 100 words a minute, just like, and it's just like, but he's so passionate and so energetic about it.
The thing I love about Miles, right, is that what he goes over in his video courses, we have paid for courses that don't go into the same level of detail that he goes into. It's stuff like interest segmentation on Facebook. So predominantly it's Facebook marketing, I would say, but actually the funnel in general. So moving people through from people who have no idea you exist into a happy, profitable customer is kind of his gambit. But we've gone through 3 Facebook advertising agencies. All of them tell me they're experts, and every single one of them we've fired. And Troy recommended Miles Beckler's advert because I looked at our WP Elevation numbers. I was like, how the fuck are you doing this? Mm-hmm. It's completely flipped. And he said, just check out this guy. I remember I was just like, well, I now have to watch every single one of these videos, because the first one was like how to spy on your competitors' ads. I was like, oh, that sounds quite interesting. The title does not do it justice.
Right.
Like the content in there, I was like, this is mind blowing.
This is like a whole $1,000 course video.
Oh, absolutely. And I was like, okay, well, now I need to watch this next video. And like the customer avatar one is just outstanding.
Nice.
And I've ripped that off and I've shared that with my guys, and they're just like, this is incredible. I was like, well, you've got to go check this guy Miles out. His SEO content silo strategy, very good. But also the maths of what he goes through. Again, because the reason I like him is because everyone else talks about cost per click.
Yep.
And he goes, cost per click is irrelevant. Cost per click means nothing if you don't know your cost per lead and cost per customer. Mm-hmm. And you go back and work out the maths, and upstairs in my office now, it's just the maths of it everywhere. And I'm like, why am I worried about the cost per click? Like, I know that I can get someone through at this price. why do I care that, so just as someone who breaks stuff down into what he typically does, I find, is he'll do one video about like everything in general, and then he'll break each stage down into another smaller video into more detail. But yeah, for free content, just mind-boggling the amount of stuff that's out there.
He's another guy that's consistent. Every single week he will publish a video.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, it's about that consistency. It's about always being there, always producing value. And being down to earth and likable. And yeah, he's another guy that's incredible at that.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Cool. Yeah, good shout. Big fan of Miles Beckler. So next up on my list is Russell Brunson. So
I think you've spoken about him before on the podcast, maybe.
So Russell Brunson owns ClickFunnels.
Yep.
And ClickFunnels have interviewed me on their podcast.
Okay, yep.
Russell Brunson's got a couple of books, .com Secrets and Expert Secrets. Now, I like Russell. I don't particularly like ClickFunnels.
Okay.
So it's an interesting dynamic. I've got an interesting relationship with those guys. Russell is very much a value up front guy. He's got 2 or 3 core messages that he just pumps out all the time. And ClickFunnels helps people build marketing funnels. It's a piece of software that builds marketing funnels. The book .com Secrets to me was like a core book of 2017. I read it and then reread it and then reread it. And it goes over a lot. It's not that dissimilar to The Invisible Selling Machine by Ryan Deiss, the principles of a CVO funnel or a ladder funnel, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yep.
It's pretty much the same. But Russell is really good at showing what the CEOs of $400 million companies, which is what ClickFunnels alone is worth. His larger companies are worth more. So he's a very wealthy man, but he is still at the forefront of his social media movement, still at the forefront of all his content. He makes all his videos. He reads all his books.
That's insane, isn't it?
He understands. This is why I like Grant Cardone again, because they understand that people don't follow brands.
Yeah.
The argument I hate is when people go, oh, you need to have an authority. You have to have a person who's willing to stand up and be a human face to it. You go, well, we don't really like to do that. We go, okay, well, your business will fail then. It's as simple as that. BT, for a guy in the UK, BT is one of our internet and telephone companies. They tried to do it. They tried to have fucking Nick from whatever his face from like that sitcom or whatever, that tall lanky guy who looks like a Gorgonite.
I remember.
So he's a nice guy. That's a bit harsh maybe, but brands are constantly trying to get people's faces on it because they understand. People go, oh yeah, but Coca-Cola doesn't have a face. Yeah, Coca-Cola's also been around 200 years. Like, you can't compare that. You need to have a face to the brand. And Russell Brunson, I think, is outstanding at making sure that he is the face of his business and that people see him as a relatable CEO.
Yep.
The man is filthy fucking rich, and yet people perceive him to be someone that they can have a conversation with, probably because they can.
Yeah.
Well,
that's it. Usually if people perceive something, it's usually because it's true.
Yeah. He's a good thing about like being divisive. Like on my podcast, it says, Mike Killen says websites are dead. I never said that on the podcast. In fact, I actually tried to make the point about websites can be powered differently. I never said that. But that's their message. That's how they sell ClickFunnels, because ClickFunnels is a website builder. I don't care what they say. It is a website builder.
Right, yeah.
And so they have a couple of messages which divide their audience. Some people hate them, some people love them. Fantastic. Those that love them, and those that hate them probably still buy their products. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Russell Brunson, great guy. He sounds like a guy that you could have a conversation with. I'm sure he's super, super busy, but I reckon if you happen to bump into him, he'd be happy to have a chat with you. So yeah, really awesome, awesome person. I need to get him on the podcast actually, because he's a cool guy. He's
amazing.
A cool guy to know. Yeah,
that'd be really good.
Yeah, mate. Russell Brunson.
Okay. Next up on my list is a man called Zach Spuckler.
You have spoken about him before.
I have indeed. He's from a website called Heart, Soul and Hustle.
That's it. Yeah.
He mainly talks about Facebook advertising, Periscope advertising.
Periscope's still a thing?
I don't know. I think it's still there. I don't know how big it is.
I thought it shut down.
Is it?
I thought Twitter bought it out and shut it down. I might be wrong.
No, Twitter bought it, but it's still around.
Okay.
You can use it.
All right.
But basically, not that side of what he does, even though he's very good at it.
Yeah.
It's mainly to do with his podcast, and this is one of the kind of inspirations for this podcast as well, and just like starting this podcast up and actually doing it.
Yeah.
I think to date he has done over 80 podcasts.
Mad, isn't it?
And
a Periscope is still going.
Still going.
Yeah.
There we go. But one of the really, really good things that I like about him is that he always tries and gets people onto his podcast to interview.
Yeah.
And all of it, literally his beginning, I think 20 or so podcasts, was each a different person that he was interviewing.
Yeah.
And some quite big people at the time. And he was just starting out in the podcasting space. And I really like that approach, that inclusive approach of I need to join up with someone of equal value to then give that value to my audience and in turn get my podcast and my message out there to a whole new audience that I wouldn't have reached.
Yeah.
Not only that, he's very, very energetic, very, very down to earth. Again, another common trait. His structure for his podcast is very good. So he'll have an intro. Then he'll have the main show where he will ask some really, really kind of good in-depth questions.
Yep.
And then at the end of it, he'll sum everything up. And I just think it's very well thought out how he's actually gone about doing it. And he's been doing it every single week and keeps doing it. And he's built a really good following and also a really, really profitable course business off the back of it.
Interesting.
So, a very, very good influence and inspiration for this podcast.
It's funny because that's how the WP Elevation podcast works. So I'm at the moment interviewing like 2 people a month or something.
Okay.
2 people a quarter, can't remember now. And we've managed to get some amazing people on, like people who are way bigger than us. And so I love that model, and Troy's constantly pushing us to do that model.
Yeah.
This is what I kind of like about doing this particular podcast, because you're introduced all the time. One of the reasons I was excited to do this episode is because I felt that my network is becoming a little bit stale.
Right.
So I wanted to start exploring some new people, some new options and stuff. We're currently moving into a new round of Facebook advertising, so it's important for me to understand like who else is in this field and what they're doing and stuff. That guy sounds awesome. Zach Spuckler.
Zach Spuckler.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Heart, Soul and Hustle.
Awesome.
Cool.
The final guy on my list is someone else who I've interviewed recently, Andrew Craig.
Genius guy.
It's just like he doesn't understand. I was chatting to him this morning because he's a mate of mine now. So he wrote How to Own the World. Okay, he was a square mile. So in the UK, square mile in London is the equivalent of Wall Street. He was an investor, worked with banks and all this kind of stuff, and he was like, how is it that people who are selling these products know so little about banking products? We've talked about him before, and we've talked about the book before. The reason I like him is because I feel like he doesn't understand why no one else is teaching what he's teaching, because it's such a simple message, about how as business owners or individuals or people who work for companies and employees or whatever, you can put money aside, save it, invest it wisely, and you can do better than big pension funds, which are now basically destined to collapse. But also, it used to be a case of you would have to start with 10 grand to put money in investing at all. I now invest like £6 a time. Like any time, even a tiny little splinter cell comes through, I'll put 10% of it away into another little pot, another little fund. And he just goes through how to do that. But the book itself, Plain English Finance is the name of the publishing company. They've got a fund now as well. So they've made it even easier.
That's really good.
Which is a perfect example of someone going, the book helps people do a thing, helps them get a result. He kind of has a course, kind of, and a group and whatever, helps people get that next result. How can I help someone get this result faster and with less effort and more automation? Create a fund. So, he's the book itself talks about pensions, property, investing, mutual funds, stocks and shares, day trading, all the stuff that people either go, oh, it's very risky, isn't it? Or they'll even roll their eyes at because it sounds boring. It's broken down in a way that I think this should be the thing that people are taught in school.
Most definitely.
And yet, obviously we weren't, but I do know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. When am I fucking using that?
Yesterday, Mike.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, we're at that
Pub quiz.
biology convention we were at. Yeah, the pub quiz. Yeah, but like, I don't even use the stuff I learned at marketing
Yeah.
at uni anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and yet the concepts of just putting aside 10% of your income and learning where to save it, and just spending a day, like, that's all it took really. Because I remember I then gave the book to you and our mate Mark.
Yeah.
And it basically took all three of us a day to get set up.
Yeah, it's not long. And suddenly
forever.
you're going. Yeah. And then suddenly your money is making more money than it ever would
It's weird.
elsewhere.
So yeah, Andrew Craig, British guy, really, really lovely chap. Again, there's an interview of me interviewing him around there somewhere. Just a cool guy, man. You know, British and yeah.
Nice.
Good dude.
Yeah, I second that wholeheartedly. His finance advice has turned my way of looking about money.
Yeah, just the perception of money around. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Talking about money,
Yeah.
my last person is also about that, but possibly the newer side of it.
Yeah.
So Mr. Sam Volkering.
Yeah.
I've spoken about him also on the podcast before, very briefly.
Here he is.
He has written a book called The Crypto Revolution. So all about cryptocurrencies, about Bitcoin, about Ethereum, about Ripple, about all of those different ones.
Yeah.
An absolutely eye-opening book. You can actually get it for free.
Yeah.
If you go on to, I think it's South Bank Investment Research, something along those lines.
Well, yes, samvolkering.com does have a link to it.
There you go.
As well,
Perfect. But in his book, he will break down exactly what cryptocurrencies are, how they came about, the history of them, where they're likely to be heading, and then goes into the practical side of it, just like Andrew Craig does.
Yeah, that's the big difference. Is it's easy for someone to talk about investment strategies like, oh, make sure that you're getting a market tracker fund. One, I don't know what that is. Two, I don't know how to buy that. But instead, Andrew Craig and Sam, they basically say, open this account from a company called Hargreaves Lansdown. Enter these two funds, which are mutual tracker funds. Here's why, and here's how you can find some ones in future.
Exactly.
Steps.
Yeah, steps. That's what you need. You need the theory up front to introduce you to stuff, and then you need the steps of how
Is
to
he
do
Australian?
He is Australian.
Yeah, it says here he's only down the road from bloody Troy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go.
How mad is that?
Yeah, he is Australian. He's also got, he runs a magazine, online magazine subscription called something Tech Investor, Future Tech Investor. There's one called Frontier Tech Investor. It's not that one, it's the other one.
Crypto Tech Investor?
Maybe. That would make sense.
There's a few of them here. It's like, these are newsletters. I don't know.
He's probably got a few.
Don't
know. But anyway, he was the one that kind of introduced me to how to get into the cryptocurrency scene.
Yeah.
I got into Bitcoin probably about...
From buying drugs online?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Silk Road.
That weapons. From a black market baron.
Yeah. Buying ambergris.
What's that?
So yeah, this is absolutely true. Completely off topic.
Yeah.
Ambergris is the bile from a whale's stomach.
Ah, that's what I've got at home.
Yeah.
I wonder what that was.
Big blobby fat of
in the jar.
Yeah, in the jar.
Smashed.
But that's
Thanks,
what they
Mike.
use in. All comes full circle. Look, I need you to refund this really quickly. I know there's some oil residue in the side. Don't worry about that. That's just ambergris. The fuck is ambergris? It's whale.
Don't worry
it's,
about
it's,
it.
it's whale
Give me my
bile.
£12.
Yeah, just give me my 12 quid back. No, that ambergris is whale bile, and it's used in all perfumes. Absolutely true, and it's also highly like it's like its worth is more than gold.
All right.
And yeah, there are cases of people trading ambergris with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, how did you get into it?
I got into it. I read the book first of all.
Yeah,
it broke it down so easily that I was like, well, why don't I do this?
Sure.
So I thought, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
So I bought back in September of this year.
Yeah,
2017. And I think Bitcoin price was at $3,500 per Bitcoin.
It's mad, isn't it?
Today, 3 months later, it's $7,200.
It's fucking insane, isn't it?
That's 100%.
Yeah.
In 3 months.
Doesn't happen.
I don't know anything that's jumped 100% in 3 months. It's insane. So yeah, he'll talk. He goes through all of that, and it's such. And he also takes you through the blockchain and how that kind of works behind it all and the basis of it.
Yeah.
This is technology and currency and asset that is also already starting to revolutionize the way that finance and business and industry works.
Yep.
the sooner you can jump on it, trust me, the better. I'm not a financial advisor.
Yeah. I know. I don't know if we've got to put this legal disclaimer.
I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor.
But no, you're right.
But
yeah.
The technology is something that will go through the entire globe and everything that we do and all the systems and processes that we do. So it's a very exciting opportunity. And Sam has actually broken it down so simply that it makes it a breeze to get into.
It's interesting because part of me worries that it's a bit like the .com boom of the 90s, because I see a lot of people, like, not at all saying that Sam is close to that, but I see a lot of people, like, I think on Friday tomorrow in Exeter or something, there's like a Bitcoin camp. I happen to know the person who runs it is like a chiropractor or something.
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck do you know? And so the mere because we've looked at it, because the reason why is I have shares in Nvidia, and Nvidia shares have skyrocketed because Nvidia graphics cards, like a computer component, are the bits of the computer that actually mine bitcoins.
Yep.
So if I had 10 graphics cards, I could mine more bitcoins, right? Just creating them. The basic concept is that you solve mathematical problems, and for every mathematical problem you solve, you are given a share of bitcoin. Now, the reason I have shares in Nvidia is because I bought them a long time ago when they were about to release a new graphics card, before I really even knew what cryptocurrency was. It's the first time in history where the cost of those graphic cards have gone up since release. It's never happened before. The problem is that China is buying tens of thousands of these graphics cards at a time. They've got entire farms running to mine Bitcoin. And I then see people kind of jumping on it because the concept's very simple. They go, yeah, you can just plug in a USB and you can get you can do Bitcoin hashing. I'm like, no, it's not. Like anything, the cost of the electricity will cost you more than the return you make on any kind of investing. So I worry about it a little bit. And again, this is a conversation for another time. But Sam's advice is second to none.
Yeah.
You know, just the way that he's very pragmatic about it.
Yeah.
He doesn't mind asking the difficult questions. I've even seen him say, you shouldn't get into mining Bitcoins this particular way.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like I've seen him talk about that. And he says, unless you've got, like 15 million to invest in a particular, farm to do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, he's another wise investor who talks about sensible and pragmatic investing, which hasn't really changed since, what's the guy's name? George Glassen's book, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yep.
The principles are almost identical.
Yeah.
It's just where you put your money.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. And I think that's all of them done.
Cool.
And yeah, just like to go over as well, everything about these people, they all stick to one message.
Yeah.
They're all known for a singular thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all incredibly consistent about what they do. They're all incredibly likable and down to earth.
Does that mean that we will one day make this because this show is consistently shit?
Yes.
Yeah. Go.
That was my next person. Mike Killen.
Yeah. If you want a consistent nonsense podcast from a couple of guys who do not know what they're talking about. Yeah, perfect. We'll be on this list one day.
Yeah, James and Mike.
But yeah, you're right. They're consistent. They have the same message over and over.
Yeah, they're very down to earth, likable.
They're likable.
Yeah.
Which is like such an obvious thing. But there's so many people that I watch online. I'm like, I need to punch you in the face. If we met in real life, I'd have to slap you.
Yeah.
You seem intolerable.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things. And also, they've all either got a course or a book.
That is absolutely true. That is true. Yeah, look
businesses
at the list.
that educate, dominate. A course should not necessarily be your be-all and end-all. A course or a book should not be your be-all and end-all. But if you want to show people that you are an authority, create a course, write a book, do something that puts educational content out there.
I agree. Willing to help people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Nice. I think that was... I was looking forward to this episode as well, actually.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do this one for a while. It's good.
And I think it's something that a lot of our listeners probably don't have time to kind of... Or just wouldn't hear about,
because we've got
elsewhere.
too much time on our hands.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
we just sit here all day drinking coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
So
do nothing but listen to
put it together
podcasts
for you.
all
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So
but no, you're right. It becomes overwhelming.
It does. The amount of influencers in inverted commas out there, and the amount of people spouting the same crap, you can easily get overwhelmed by nonsense and rubbish.
Yeah.
And when you can pick a select few, because that's all you need. You just need one in each area that inspires you for a certain reason. Just follow them.
Yeah.
Don't worry about anyone else.
Very good.
Cool. All right, should we move on to the content report?
Yeah, man.
Nice one. What you got?
Speaking of which, I've just finished Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone.
How many books has that man written?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. No, he's prolific. Seriously. And I think he's got another 2 that I haven't read. So this one's really interesting. This is his first book. It's quite short, very short, in fact. And it was written in 2007, around the time of the financial crash, because he believed that when people go, there's no money, people can't sell anything anymore, no one's buying anything, he was like, I'm going to prove you wrong, and I'm going to sell a book door to door. Originally, this book didn't even have a publishing deal.
Right.
He went out, got a load printed, and sold it to businesses door to door to prove that you could still make sales. The book is also about making sales. So anyone who bought it thought, well, he obviously knows what he's fucking talking about.
He hasn't bought the book.
Bought the bloody book. So,
Nice.
and it's a lot of the time it's about, be likable. I told you, The Fly.
Fly has been
did
annoying
I
me.
not tell you that if you had come in minutes later, the room would have been smashed to pieces?
Why do flies find it okay to buzz exactly around your face, literally an inch away from it? Why
I
do
tell
they
you
do
what's
that?
it's worse is when at night and you turn all the lights off and you're sat in bed and you see this. Right, this is what will send me into a Stanley Kubrick Shining style rage.
Anyway,
But really good book, very pragmatic advice on sales. Again, if you don't like selling, if you don't like the concept of selling, I would implore, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Frankly, I understand why people don't like it, even if you don't feel you've got confidence, any of that kind of shit. Don't worry about that. Pick up a book like this and read through what makes a sale. And at its core, a lot of salespeople, and it's interesting, when we worked together, a lot of the salespeople thought, Mike, he's in marketing, he's really good at colouring in, right? The reality is...
I've seen it.
You hand that man a Crayola crayon. He's got over 160 colours. Will he stay inside the lines? You better fucking believe he will. Yeah, right? So, but my background is actually heavier in sales. And the concept of making a sale and marketing, I think, is really clearly defined. Marketing is about getting people to find you, like you, and trust you.
Yep.
And I would say understand you as well, potentially. Yep. That's all marketing should be doing. Selling is working out whether two parties, it's beneficial for them to work together.
Yeah.
That is literally it. Do you have enough money to pay for my services? Will my services help you enough?
Yeah.
Everything that your business does relies at some point on working out whether it makes sense for two parties to work together. Sell or be sold basically puts forward the argument that if someone doesn't want to buy from you, that's them selling the concept of not buying to you. It is your job to begin to discover people. Like, for example, there are marketing funnel builders out there who have said, I really don't think I need your course or your coaching, Mike. And I have gone out of my way to prove that they would need it. And again, a lot of people go, that sounds like the hard sell. I disagree personally. I could argue that heating and lighting is sold on the hard sell because they go, well, otherwise, you're going to be really, really cold and you're not going to have any light in your house. That's a hard sell. That is a hard sell, in my opinion.
Pretty hard, or you'll die.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, so everything is sold like that, and you should feel an obligation to sell to people. Very, very short book, really easy to read, written in his weird sense of humor. That's what I've been reading. And,
cool. That sounds good.
Yeah, it was all right.
Nice.
What about you, man?
Going back to the beginning of the show, I said I was looking at content syndication.
Syndication, mate, yeah.
So that's getting your already published content out in as many places as possible.
Yeah.
And what would you have it? Sumo have got another
shocking,
incredibly good article about getting published on large publications.
Interesting.
So like Huffington Post, Forbes, Inc., all of that sort of stuff, and anywhere in between. And it's a whole. We'll put the link in the show notes as well. But basically, it's an entire step-by-step process of how you approach how you find publications in your niche.
Yeah.
Then how you approach them, what would probably be expected of you, like how much of your content would you need to change? Do you need to change the headlines? Do you need to put canonical codes into your HTML to then link stuff back to like the whole kind of practicalities behind it? But it's such an eye-opening experience because we as content producers get so far stuck down into creating the content. It's then like a last sigh of relief when we post it on our blog.
Yes. Yeah, so the big argument, the analogy I use for this is if you had a shop and you build widgets, you physically build them. To me, a lot of people treat blog writing and content creation as creating that little widget, that little thing, and then as soon as they're done, moving straight on and building the next one. Like, whoa, you haven't even sold the one you've just built yet. You haven't got that in front of people yet. Don't worry about. You've got to be consistent in creating content and whatever, but we spend so much time creating, we forget that it's never going to be seen if you don't spend at least 3 to 10 times the effort on putting it out there in front of people, Yeah,
exactly that. And this is one of the best ways of reaching a massive audience that wouldn't really otherwise see you. It's not always going to work. And you're going to have some pretty epic content in order to do that. But remember that the bigger the publication, the bigger their needs are for content.
People forget this.
And that's one thing that I've learned.
People need content.
Journalists
are fucking hungry for it. That's why local journalists will publish anything. They'll put fucking anything in newspapers because they're just desperate for stories all the time.
Exactly. So don't be afraid of doing it. Just follow this guide because it's absolutely amazing, to be honest. It will teach you exactly what you need to do to start getting your content out there.
Really good.
In as many different publications as possible. So that's been really eye-opening today.
And that's because I often go to, and this is the thing we're working on at the moment at Sell Your Service, is like featured in. Inc., Forbes, Huffington Post, Entrepreneur Magazine. They always come up again and again. I'm like, how do they do that? Like you say, it is partly reaching out in the first place, and they need content. So and also I think a lot of people would go, well, okay, I've approached Huffington Post or Inc. magazine and I said, would you like to publish this? And they've said no. I go, well, that's it then. No, try again. Keep trying, even with the same piece of content. One of the books that I read is a book called Play Bigger. I can't remember if I talked about it or not. I interviewed Al Ramadan, who's one of the authors of it. Very, very cool guy. They said by repeatedly saying the same message over and over again for 4, 5, 6 years, that eventually at some point that will become news and people will want that. So you might have to submit the same story over and over again to people for them to go, no, I don't want it. No, I don't want it. No, I don't want it. Oh, wouldn't you know this one thing has happened and now everyone wants to know about this thing, right? And if you have been trying to tell people that for the past 4 years or whatever, that's how you get picked up. And this is one of the ways I think is you can prove that, because I guarantee people who have published on big syndicated posts like this are not necessarily it's not the first time they've submitted it.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly that.
Yeah, good stuff. Well done for the guys from Sumo again.
Again, another great source of information. I mean, to be honest, they could be up there as an influencer, as a brand.
Yeah, they could really. Yeah.
The amount of good writers they've got for them. Is insane. I like them a lot. Cool, man. Cool.
I think that does it.
Nice.
And just thanks to a lot of people, like our followership has grown a little bit. And
it has.
We can see people following us and listening. So the best thing that anyone can do is, because we've been toying around with adverts and stuff, and it might happen, but the best thing you can do is just tell a mate. Tell someone that you listen to one particular podcast, and we're on what, 29 now?
29 now,
That's mad, isn't it?
That's mad.
And so just if there's a particular subject that's been interesting, just share that with someone, and this is often how that kind of stuff spreads. So Yeah, I really appreciate everyone reaching out. James says he specifically wanted me to say that he doesn't appreciate it.
I don't whatsoever.
Yeah. So read into that what you will.
Yeah, just email Mike. I don't care.
Yeah, but tell a mate. And it's been we're having fun, and we're planning on keep going. So.
Yeah, definitely. We hope you guys are enjoying it too. We are.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
And we've got a lot more content in the wings, and can't wait to share it with you guys.
Yeah, we have got. Cool.
So we will see you guys next week.
Cool.
Until then.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. If you liked this episode, please subscribe to the Sell Your Brand show on iTunes or your favourite podcast app and leave a rating and a review. It makes us feel all warm and fuzzy inside when we hear we're not just talking rubbish. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, drop us an email to podcast@sellyourbrandshow.com and we'll feature it in a future episode.